Woo! Okay. All right. Thank you so much for everybody's patience. Um, just some technical difficulties, but we are back and I'm really excited. So, welcome again. I don't think anyone was able to hear me last time, but this is the first session of the Neverland and the Runaways game, which is operating as kind of the official playtest for the Neverland inspired 5th edition setting that I have written, and that will be available as soon as I make sure it all makes sense. And before we totally get started, I just want to say a big thanks to Tabletop Loot, which is our awesome dice sponsor. They provide fine dice for all your gaming needs. And you can head on over to www.tabletoploot.com and use the code WTTP Dice to get 15% off your next purchase. Also, Maddie is a good friend of mine and has an amazing merch shop that sells nerdy t-shirts and other clothing. And they are the sole provider of Welcome to the Party merch. So if you go to sonerdwear.com and use the code WELCOME at checkout, you get 10% off your next purchase for them. So Nerdwear, it's what the nerds wear. And Welcome to the Party is now proudly sponsored by Roll20, which is awesome. The virtual tabletop that runs straight out of your web browser. Everything you need to play with your friends is ready at the click of a mouse, from click to roll character sheets to built-in video, and with a free basic account on roll20.net. Sign up now at roll20.net/start/WTTP. And finally, Welcome to the Party is proudly supported by Devin Rue, who has provided huge support to the community since we launched. And she has some of the best cartographical content on the web. I can't say that word. Cartographical content on the web. So check out the maps and things at rueinc.com, which is RUEINK.com. And don't forget that our Patreon not only goes to support the channel and the people who support it, your generosity allows us to keep working on our mission to platform amazing LGBTQ and BIMPOC players and creators. So please check us out at patreon.com/welcomepartyrpg. And then, as always, you can join us in the amazing Discord. There's lots of cool channels and lots of cool people. I would really like to take a beat to introduce these amazing players. We are down one today, sadly, but we will be joined by them in the coming games. So I will just do a little shout out to Russ Wildest, who will be joining us in the coming weeks. They have an awesome, fun character I can't wait for you all to meet. And please give them as much love as possible. But in the meantime, how about we do a little loop-de-loop and start with Kate. Can you just introduce yourself real quick and tell everybody where they can find you?
Sure. Hi, I'm Kate. You can find me on Twitter at KatesD8s, and you can find me on Discord at KatesandD8s. And I'm playing Arlie.
Nice. Morgan?
Hi, everybody. My name is R. Morgan Slade. On Twitter, it's R. Morgan Slade, and I'm going to be playing Riddance today.
Wonderful. Tessa, Arclight.
Yeah, I'm Sarah, or Arclight Phoenix. I'm variations on that throughout the internet. I'm missing a few vowels on Twitter. And today this whole campaign, I am playing Tessa.
Fantastic. Okay, so I guess I have to start this now. Okay, so we are gonna get started. Dawn is just about to break. And right before it does, each of you all wake up in your little knapsacks, in the trees, on the floating islands, in the camp that floats right above the waters of Neverland. You've been here individually for different amounts of time, coming from your own stories and your own backgrounds leading to this moment. And when you wake up, just like every other day since you came here, you see a starry sky, pitch black, full of moons and planets that are glowing and providing a perfect amount of nightlight to this otherwise dark sky. As the sun rises, though, the darkness of the sky pulls black like a blanket, and the stars with it disappear. And in almost a matter of seconds, it is a bright and sunny summer day. You are wrapped up cozy in your tree with leaves as blankets and an annoying cat. Your minifigures. You're bundled up in leaves. You have your few personal items with you, and you look out and down below to see the rest of the Lost, which is the party of the camp of people that have been here with you for however long you've been. Right before you get out of your bed to hop down out of the trees to join the rest of the camp, the being that brought you here, the strange elf-like person who called themselves Pan, flies over the camp, sprinkling you with fairy dust and giving you a very temporary ability to fly. You hear them laugh, a joyful laughter, as they fly over and away to do whatever that is that they do. And you climb down out of your tree pods to join the rest of the camp. And what would you like to do?
Is there breakfast nearby?
That was my question too.
Yeah. I'm hungry.
Yes. So there's, as always, a big fire pit kind of in the center of this camp that has a big kettle on it. And it just seems that whatever has been found throughout the day gets kind of thrown into this mishmash pot to become a never-ending stew. It always seems to taste good, but it never seems like any of the things that are going into it should taste good. But it's always there, and you can see some of the lost ones that you know and some that you don't kind of walk by, chuck a berry in every once in a while, chuck a whole ass animal in there like when they do. But it's there. It's endlessly cooking.
I will. Are there any bowls nearby, or is this more of a hand scoop situation?
This is kind of a hand scoop situation. Bowls are scarce. Nobody's really making them. Occasionally someone has some sort of tortoise shell or seashell that they use.
Then I will just do the two hand scoop.
All right. You get yourself a chunka, and you get yourself some breakfast.
Is there like a lineup at the moment, or is it like free for all, or?
It's pretty chaotic. There's plenty of room around this pot, but you notice that like some people like shove each other out of the way to get to it, even though there's plenty of room and absolutely no shortage of food at all. It's just it has a chaotic energy to this pot, but it's always there.
All right. Well, Riddance is definitely going to stand like 2 feet away from the pot, uh, with his blanket over his shoulder,
Yeah.
and he's like looking for an opportunity to get in, but he's not gonna shove his way in, and he's also looking around, making sure that no one else is behind him waiting for a spot. And whenever he sees a spot, he's kind of like guiding them in, make sure that they get a spot first.
Okay. All right. So you're shuffling everyone ahead of you. And for the most part, nobody seems to care either way. You know, if you make them a spot, nobody's really like thanking you or anything like that, just kind of going for it. Um, with the exception of a young dwarven woman who does eventually come up to you and kind of puts two hands on the backs of your shoulders and like whispers and is like, okay, it's your turn to eat now, remember, Riddance? And she will just sort of walk you up to the front, making sure that you feel supported.
He reluctantly complies and heads on in to grab a couple.
Would everybody describe who we are looking at right now?
Oh, sure, yeah. Like, well, Riddance is a like a lanky dragonborn kid. He's got green skin, and like instead of large horns or anything like that, it's more of like a frill around the back of his head. That's
Mhm.
like a combination of like, yeah, like pink with like yellow webbing in the middle,
Mm-hmm.
kind of a thing.
Very
A little punk rockish.
Nice.
Yeah.
Excellent. Who else are we looking
Tessa, she's a human woman of average height, palish skin, maybe a little pink from spending too much time in the sun yesterday, smattering of freckles. All of her clothes are pretty patched together, clearly out of whatever scraps she could find. Just a sleeveless tunic and leggings, but kind of sewn together, and some black boots that have definitely seen better days.
at? Okay. Gotcha.
And then Arlie is a purple tiefling. She's got lavender colored skin and really like deep purple hair. Except where mine is straight, hers is really curly, and she has most of it down, but there are two buns right here, and then they kind of follow the line of her horns back like that. She's tall. She's probably 6'1", 6'2", but she's only in her late teens, early 20s. And she's very, very gangly. But she's, happy and peppy and munching on her food.
Okay. Very good. You all sit around for breakfast for a little while, enjoying that kind of peacefully. As people around you start to finish their meals, you'll notice them start to pair off into things. Toodles, the dwarven woman that escorted Riddance to the front of the line, has since let you get your food and eat, and went to go join Slightly and Nibs at the front of camp, where there is a chopped down tree stump that has been flattened out and is frequently used as a little bit of a battle map. And they spend some time over there. Others have taken to fighting with their wooden swords for play, but occasionally seeming a little bit rougher than play. This is a camp where there are many people of many different races, classes, ages, and backgrounds. And they are all kind of splintering off into their little clusters and groups. You three do know each other, have spent some time adventuring together, with Tessa being a bit of the one that guides you the most, that has or that at least has the most experience in the ways of Neverland. And you recognize some of the other faces, particularly slightly Toodles and Nibs, and other people look familiar to you, but for the most part, the three people here are those you know are and are the most comfortable with.
Is there anything like a spare log we could sit down on and just kind of?
Yeah, they're kind of positioned all over the place. There are spare logs and stumps and smaller campfires as well.
Okay. Gonna find one of those and just kind of wander over and sit down to eat my double handful of question mark soup.
Question mark soup. Yeah, it's very good.
I'll sit next to Tessa, and then when I see Riddance, I'll like wave him over.
Riddance is gonna like kind of run over to an outskirt for about 10 minutes, and he's gonna kind of like not really eat any of his food, and you kind of, if you look over, you see him kind of talking to himself a little bit, and then after that's about 10 minutes, and then he excitedly hops up and turns and sees the two of you.
And comes all right. All right, so the three of you are together, eating your breakfast, having a nice peaceful morning in Neverland.
Are there any newcomers that might have shown up overnight that we haven't seen before?
So far, you haven't seen anybody new as of yesterday. It's kind of few and far between that Pan goes on excursions to bring back newcomers.
I'm gonna look over at Tessa in between bites and just say, is there anything that needs to get done today?
Is there?
You've been here longer than me. I don't know.
Directly into the camera at the DM.
So far, the one that, in your experience, Tessa, that always gives the orders if Pan's not around is Nibs. Nibs is the one that's in charge when Pan's not here, tells everyone what there is to be done. But pretty much the daytime seems to be your time. It's in the evening when there are tasks to be had. So you have kind of the run of Neverland for right now.
Nothing. If there's anything you or Riddance, if you want to go explore today.
I haven't really had a chance to go to the Mermaid Lagoon yet. I was hoping I might check it out.
Absolutely. I finish my stew, and look over at Riddance and the others and figure out, like, is everybody done with food and ready for, Arlie, yep.
Okay.
All right.
If you want to travel off the island, you have to fly. And while Tessa has done a lot of flying, it's still a little bit of an experience. So I just want to get a little Constitution saving throw from the other two.
Okay.
Just to make sure you have the gall to get yourself to lift up.
Cool. 10.
10?
Yes.
I rolled a 14.
Okay. Riddance, you aren't afraid of of flying. Who cares? You just lift up. Is it Aurelie? Am I saying it right?
Arlie is probably easier.
Arlie, it takes you a few times. You lift up the first time and you get about a foot off the ground, get a little bit woozy, and have to drop back down to your feet. It takes a few moments of relaxing to get yourself to finally lift off. Once you're up in the air, though, you're able to fly. Tessa knows the way to Mermaid Lagoon. During the day, it shouldn't be too dangerous. So you're not terribly too worried, but you should have the weapons you do have with you.
Check to make sure my slingshot is secured to my belt and that I have my wand shoved into my boot and take off.
Excellent.
Occasionally looking back to make sure the others are following.
They follow you. Upon looking back, you do see that Nibs is standing on the edge, just taking note of folks that are leaving the island, and watching as you take off.
I'll wave to Nibs.
Nibs looks at you like this. And then walks away. Toodles does wave at all of you in a big happy wave. You fly off and dip far down off of the floating islands toward the mainland of Neverland. Once you get a little bit closer, you have two options. You could try to fly all the way to the coast of Mermaid Lagoon, or you could drop down on land and travel by foot. It's up to you. What would you prefer to do?
Is flying just a straight line, or can I do flips in the air?
You may certainly try to do flips in the air.
Excellent. I would like to just see if I can just do a little acrobatic twirly flip thing.
Okay, give me an acrobatics check to do just that.
11.
Okay, it's not so much a flip. You just kind of turn around. you turn around, and then you turn the other way around, and then you're back the way you were. So flips are not that easy. They're a little bit of an advanced flying trick.
No, we could do that. I want to try.
All right, go ahead. Give me an acrobatics check.
14.
And showing off after that, you do a little bit of a forward tumble midair and kind of stretch out.
That's really fun.
How does Riddance fly? Because I imagine that Riddance kind of does big looping, swooping motions.
Riddance is in a constant state of trying to balance his blanket, throwing him off with his tail kind of acting as a rudder to stabilize.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's definitely a chaotic mess the entire way.
Okay, excellent. That's exactly what I'm picturing in my brain.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So you guys are taking the flying route, going kind of a quicker way to get to Mermaid Lagoon. You fly pretty much just until you reach the coast of said lagoon. I'm going to pop up the map right now just so I can take a peek at it. When you land down on the ground, you land on sort of a flat grassland. To your left, the way Neverland looks to you, for those that can remember home, the land here is very different. You'll look to your left as you do right now and see a full formed mountain range directly to your left. And the same distance away to your right, you see sort of a tropical looking forest. Like what you would see as like a rainforest or something like that back home. And this stretches out along the sides of Mermaid Lagoon. Straight ahead of you, inside the the lagoon itself, all the way to the other side of the coastline, you see an open cave that is accessible through the coast, but you could probably get there easier by swimming. And you don't seem to see anybody around as of right now. Some kind of nice and peaceful, quiet sounds.
I've never been to a beach before. I don't think. No, I've never been to a beach before. I want to start looking if there are shells. I've heard about shells, and they seem really cool.
Absolutely. You walk up and down the coastline to Mermaid Lagoon, and it's a very shelly beach. The closer you look, the more you see that there are little, critters and shellfish, then little fish swimming in this lagoon as well. And you see snail shells. You see clam shells. You see all sorts of things scattered along the beach. Some of them broken, some of them intact. And then sometimes when you look at one, it turns to look at you and then runs away.
I want to find 3 that are similar in size and shape.
Okay. And are you looking for like clam type shells? Are you looking for, snail type shells?
I'm looking more for like clam type shells, things that would look good as like a little pendant.
Okay. All right. You walk up and down. It's going to take you a while to find like 3 that are roughly the same. What about the other 2 of you? What would you like to be doing?
Also kind of scanning the beach. Are there any mermaid scales that I would be able to find?
You're scanning the beach. You don't see any mermaid scales so far, but as you're looking out, you do see that off in the distance, it seems like every once in a while, a mermaid does start poking their head up and just keeping an eye on you.
I think Riddance is kind of just like drawing shapes in the sand.
Sure.
At the moment.
Absolutely.
But if anyone takes a look and seeing what he's doing, every so often a shape will complete itself while he's making other shapes in the beach.
Oh, so he'll like start a shape and walk and start doing another one, and that shape will maybe just form itself again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Can I get an example of what one shape that he would create in the sand is?
Well, he definitely started by making as perfect a circle as he possibly could.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he walked over to start like a star beside it, 2 pokes and then a half moon kind of make themselves in the circle to make a smiley face.
Okay. All right. Very cute. All right. So Riddance is making possessed drawings in the sand. And that's fine. Everything's fine.
Poltergeist art. It's fine.
It's totally okay.
So let's see. Walking along the beach, you do find 2 clamshells that look pretty much identical. They're both like a very shimmery blue with swirls that lead to the center of the shell. Um, and as you're walking along, the first time you see another one that looks like this, it looks at you and it turns and legs pop out of the bottom of it and it starts to waddle away.
I think about stopping it. I do.
Okay. All right. You let it
I'll let it go.
you let it waddle off.
Yeah.
And Tessa, you do notice that the mermaids have not come any closer, just popped out of the water, and they're just keeping an eye, kind of swimming back and forth, watching you. They are almost glittery. The sunlight catches on their skin, and their skin tones are all a mix. Each of them are all a mix of different colors. But those colors are almost naturally glittery and shimmery, with highlights and lowlights that catch the sun.
If one pops their head up and stares at me, I'm just gonna not, obnoxiously, just sort of wave at them.
You wave at that mermaid. And this mermaid that you wave at has a sort of silver highlighted skin and bright red hair, and kind of dives into the water and pops back up like just a few feet from where you are on the beach, and gives you the sweetest smile.
Would I know anything that would tell me that talking to this mermaid is a really bad idea?
You've only been to Mermaid Lagoon with Pan before.
Okay.
And when you do, only he speaks to the mermaids. He does so, and nothing bad has seemed to happen, but he does make you stay back when you are there. They haven't explained to you why. It's just a thing that Pan does.
Okay. Just gonna wave a little smaller this time and smile back, not say anything, just sort of return the greeting.
Okay. She hangs out there, kind of wading back and forth.
Tessa really wants to say something, but she's just gonna like bite her tongue and say, no.
Riddance is gonna turn and notice like the tail end of that moment, and then kind of like uber confidently make like an L-shape march in the beach towards Tessa before doing like a 90-degree turn and making a motion like he's about to start walking over to the mermaid.
Okay.
Just in case Tessa's gonna stop him.
Yeah. She's just gonna keep an eye on him, and I mean, nothing bad has ever happened when she's been here with the mermaids before.
Yeah. No bad incidences.
She's just gonna kind of keep an eye on that and maybe see if she can keep him within grabbing distance, just in case.
Sure. So then he'll march like 2 strides forward and plant himself in the beach in front of, like in line with the mermaid.
Mm-hmm.
And Yeah, go ahead.
At that point, when you come over, she turns and smiles at you and gives you a sweet little wave. Another mermaid is going to come from the other side of the lagoon. This one is a gentleman with gentlemanly features on his human torso, with golden blonde hair, and a deep purple skin tone, and all again still shimmery. Kind of swims over to you, pops up, and reaches a hand out to give you a handshake.
Oh, right away.
Mhm.
Gotcha. Well, Riddance like overly gestures that he pulls out this looks like a piece of folded parchment, and like he pulls it out far like so that it's not hidden from Tessa's view when he like whips it out and opens it and holds it in like out to the mermaids, kind of like it's a badge.
Like flips it open, like yeah.
Flips it open and he just holds it open. And it's like a ratty piece of like it looks like maybe like a card or something that's been folded close. He holds it open and he holds it out to the mermaids and he goes, "I'm Riddance. I'm the official greeter from the Department of Neverland Maturity, and I'm here to greet you this morning. Hello."
Oh no, I love him.
The mermaid retracts his hand, reads leans in to see what the card is, and says, "Well, I can't read your language, but it is lovely to meet you. What are you doing out here at the lagoon all by yourselves? Where's Pan?"
I'll make my way back at this point and overhear the tail end of that question. Be like, "Oh, hi. I was just curious. I'd never been over here before. I'm not sure where Pan is." And then I turn to Tessa and Riddance. I'm like, "Look, shells."
I like peer into her hands, like, "Ooh, those are really pretty."
Yeah, and Riddance is confidently finished with his duty. He puts his card back in his pocket, and his attention immediately goes to the shells.
Yeah.
The lady mermaid leans in and says, "Those are very pretty. You're very good at finding nice shells. Do you know, we have so many. We could give you some if you like. You could come and see our collection. We have many more shells."
Oh, well, where's your collection?
Just on the other side there.
I'm gonna look at Tessa. I mean, is this sure, okay. But I want to look at her and I want to cast friends and be like, surely nothing bad's gonna happen, right?
Okay. So you cast friends on her. She has to make a saving throw for that, correct?
I have advantage on all charisma checks.
Oh, you do?
Mhm.
Okay. All right, go for it.
Okay.
Let's see, where's her? Okay.
My charisma's really good. Oh shit. 21.
21?
Yeah.
Wow.
I have a +5 to charisma and I rolled a 16.
Wow.
Wonderful. Okay. You see her kind of start to reach her hand out to take yours. When you say that phrase, and she retracts it back, and she says, "Oh, well, why don't you come and I'll show you the best shells I have then." And she goes and blows a little kiss at you, and a bubble appears, floats in the air, approaches your face, and pops just on your lips, And suddenly you feel this strange feeling when you breathe. And she motions at you to come into the water. And she kind of dives after.
Okay, be right back. And I will give Riddance his shell, and I will give Tessa her shell. Be like, be right back, guys. And I'll follow.
Okay, you hand them the 2 shells and you jump into the water and you dive underneath and you just inhale. And it's like breathing a breath of fresh air. And you kind of swim and follow her as she swims down and down right to the bottom of this lagoon, where there is, in fact, a glowing treasure trove of not just shells, but gems. And it looks like maybe armor and maybe some bones, you're not sure, but there's definitely a trove of mostly beautiful things down here in a vast pile. And she sort of just excitedly looks at you and is like, isn't this beautiful?
Look at all this stuff. Isn't it neat? This looks like a pretty complete collection. It's beautiful.
Well, it's not ever complete. There's always more that we want. And you can hear her through the water as if you were above water, speaking face to face. And you see like the little air bubbles like coming out from both of your mouths as you speak. And she says, well, normally we just add to the collection, but I don't know. You seem like such a nice friend. I would let you take something.
Oh, has it been longer than a minute?
Not yet.
Okay.
Coming there, though.
Okay. All right. That's so kind. No, I just wanted to see your collection. I couldn't even dream of taking something from it.
Well, if you're sure.
Yeah, I think so. I just wanted to see, and I'm eyeing those bones hardcore.
Yeah.
I'm like side-eyeing the bones real hard.
You could stay.
Maybe later. Maybe I'll come visit with Pan and I'll be able to stay a bit longer.
Oh, no. You don't know. Don't come back with Pan. Just you, our friend. And you can stay here, and we'll have friends. There's not that many of us, and we need more. And your friends could come, and we could teach them how to swim. And we could all live down here. Did you know that the cave over there's more underwater? And she like points to underneath where the cave was that you looked at before. And there are several other like caverns along the wall of the lagoon with pitch darkness inside. There's so much to explore down here.
Oh, the seaweed is always greener. I think I'm okay where I'm at, but thank you. And I appreciate you showing me your collection.
All right. Well, maybe if you change your mind, you'll come back.
Sure. What was your name?
Well, I don't believe that you can pronounce it, but you could call me Red.
Red. Okay. I go by Ari.
Ari. All right, Ari. Well, it was nice. And then you see like her face sort of shift and change. And then she looks at you and her eyes narrow.
I'd heard stories. Sorry. I really just wanted to see. Sorry.
Well, I don't think I can let you leave now. Not after what you've done.
I'm gonna cast message to Tessa.
Okay.
Help! That's it. That's all I
Tessa,
got.
you unsurprisingly hear the word help. Just moments after your friend swam after a mermaid underwater.
Not entirely surprised at that turn of events. Is the other mermaid still up here?
At the moment, yes.
Okay. Gonna step over and kind of talk to her and be like, hi. Any chance we could follow? I'm pointing kind of toward the water after Arlie and the other one.
He looks at you very curiously and says, You want to go down there?
I mean, no, but our friend, she's a little new to Neverland and don't really want to leave her alone for an extended period of time. That's all.
I think you might want to forget about her.
I don't think I
friends.
do. But she's purple, and I don't really have any other purple friends.
Yeah, well.
I mean, you're kind of purple.
I do get that, actually. It is nice to have us around. It's a good color.
It is. It's a good color.
Why should I help you? I was, frankly, not going to do that at all.
Well, you swam over here. You listened to my other friend and his very fine introduction.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're still here talking, so clearly there must be some interest.
Well, you're friends of Pan, aren't you?
Yes.
We're always interested in friends of Pan.
Can I insight check this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I cannot insight check this. That's a 6.
Mermaid!
Purple skin.
Definitely a
Okay.
mermaid.
Correct identification. Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, we're friends of Pan, and if you're interested, I mean, Arlie is as well. So can you help us follow her?
At this moment, you hear a shrieking scream come out of the water. Ari, the red-headed mermaid that's standing in front of you or swimming in front of you, has kind of tilted her head back and almost unhinged her jaw. It looks so open, and she just lets out this banshee scream that echoes through the water and up, and you see other mermaids kind of peek out from behind rocks and from behind troves of treasure under this water. And the gentleman mermaid that is above water right now kind of turns and dips in and swims down after.
Crap. It's gone. Are all the other mermaids that have poked their way out, are they swimming in that direction as well? Okay.
Coming down.
Riddance is just gonna look over at Tessa and be like, is Arlie okay?
Ari, you have one action before stuff pops off.
Cool.
I'm gonna go with not okay. She said help, and that's not usually what people say when they're okay. Plus the screaming.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, did I hear that message, or that was just for Tessa, right?
No.
The help is only Tessa, but the scream you heard for sure.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I have one action.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Does Peter Pan does the pixie dust wear off if I go underwater?
No. Mm-mm.
Excellent. I'm gonna think the happiest thoughts I can possibly think.
Okay, good idea. I would like you to take an inspiration point for that clever idea.
Thank you.
And I would like you to tell me the happy thought that you think of?
The happy thought I think of, and it takes a bit because my memories are a little murky. It takes some active thinking in order to remember. But I think my happiest thought was when I convinced my mother to let me adopt a stray dog that I found in an alley.
Okay. You picture simultaneously like her kind of reluctantly rolling her eyes and saying yes, and this puppy like just excitedly wiggling, like going into your arms and just licking the heck out of your face over and over again. And that joy, like almost for a second. And then, like, as you realize that it's working, you open your eyes and you see just like a swarm of mermaids swimming right towards you as you rocket up, straight up out of the water and up into the sky and even higher up, and you two see her kind of rocket out of the sky and up and sort of swimming with a kind of surprising amount of joy for someone you thought may have been in serious trouble moments ago, as she's up in the air, looking okay. You look down and you do see these mermaids in a cluster kind of pop up out of the water and hiss at you.
Fly back to Tessa. Sorry.
I look over at Riddance. So never mind. She's okay. I'm gonna quick like prestidigitation her so she's all dry and get the water off.
Oh, okay. You are air dried. You are blow dried.
Good blowout with the hair.
Yeah.
Brazilian blowout.
And you, at this point, you come and rejoin your friends on the beach and see this cluster of mermaids just staring at you, seething.
I'll be back with Pan. Bye. Except I don't really go anywhere. I just hide behind Tessa.
Which is funny because she's shorter than you. So despite the amount of like brown curly hair she has, she's like, you still see Arlie up above.
That's true. Yeah. What would y'all like to do now?
Not go into the water.
Mm.
So they're mermaids, so like logically we're safe as long as we don't like
Go in the water.
right. Okay.
There is yeah, so there's other things around you. Even like on the ground right now, there are little, critters here and there. There's mountains, there's a cave, there's like a coastline full of woods, there's a forest directly behind you. There's all kinds of things. And then of course, back in the direction you came to the south are the floating camps.
I've had my adventure for the day. Does anyone else have any ideas?
Goodness.
I haven't been into the like, is there a jungle and a forest, or is it the same thing?
Yeah, there's two. So there's a like a jungle that goes across the coastline of the lagoon that you're at right now. Directly behind you, there's like a completely different, like thick green forest.
Other than the cluster of screaming angry mermaids, does anything catch my attention as being interesting or?
Yeah, when you kind of look around, the more that you look, and this is kind of a thing about Neverland, when you're looking around, things at first look very mundane, and then you'll look at them a little bit longer, and sometimes they they shift or change. So like you'll be looking at a seashell on the ground and then you'll realize that it has a face and it's looking at you. Or you'll look out at a tree and think that it's just rustling in the wind, and then you'll realize that it's actually playing like a hand game with the tree next to it, and it's doing a little bit of like a rock paper scissors game with another tree. You'll look and you'll see what looks like a little candlelight, and it'll turn out to be some sort of glowing bugs. When you look out right now, since it is so bright out, you see that a little bit just off in the distance of snow is starting to fall just north of where you are. And you see that that snow is sort of traveling towards you a little bit. As it does, some of the animals on Neverland seem to be sort of scurrying away from the snow and towards you. They're unidentifiable right now, but you've seen many critters on Neverland, and they're mostly safe, for the most part, friendly. Not a whole lot of natural predators that you've come
I'm gonna
across.
reach my hand down and let, like, whether it's a little crab thing or something else, just kind of crawl up my hand for a minute.
Yeah, so actually the little blue shell that Ari saw before will kind of climb up you. It's sort of like top heavy on its little legs, so the little blue shell will waddle back and forth as it hops up, and it just looks up at you and hi.
It actually talks.
Yeah, and opens its clam and it says hi.
Hello.
Well, what's your name?
I'm Tessa. What's your name?
I don't know. Then I don't think anyone's ever given me one. Would you like to give me a name?
What does the shell actually look like?
It is a
like,
shiny blue
clamshell
shell
type thing?
that looks identical to the one you were just given.
Okay. All the puns I've ever heard in my life just went straight out of my brain.
Sheldon.
Sheldon. Yes. No.
Eldon.
Sheldon. You look like a Sheldon.
It's a gentleman's name.
You sound very gentlemanly.
Thank you.
You're welcome. What are you running from?
He kind of nods his shell body over at Ari. So, well, I think she was going to pick me up, and I don't like being picked up.
Would you like me to put you down?
Oh, no, as long as you don't put your hands on my shell, I'm good.
Nope, you can.
Where are you headed to?
We were just discussing that, actually. Kind of look back at everybody else and say, so not swimming.
Oh, no, don't go in there. They take you to just keep you down there.
Yeah, I think we learned that one. Riddance, anywhere that you want to go? I mean, I've been here longer, so I've kind of been everywhere. But if you want to go somewhere.
I think I hit my greeting quota for the day, so I really just want to take a look around.
Okay.
And then he kind of just like with every he looks at the snow, and then he shifts and pivots to the jungle, and he shifts and pivots to the forest, and he goes, and he's kind of just stuck in a loop between the three choices.
How about the jungle?
Sure.
Jungle sounds good.
You go into the jungle. Do you have any supplies that you need, or I can help you find some things?
What supplies should we need for the jungle? I ask the sea creature.
Well, you're in Neverland, and they're the people folk. You got the two legs and the
Mm-hmm.
and the heads and stuff.
And the hair.
And
Yes.
the hair and things. So how's your memory?
Thinks on that for an uncomfortably long time. I remember Neverland.
Oh,
Mostly.
all right. It's gotten you a little bit. Gotten you a bit good. Well, sometimes there are things in the forest or in the jungle, little things that help give you boost to your memory. I've heard.
She kind of reaches up and plays around with like a very, very tarnished small silver locket that she has on a chain around her neck, and kind of takes a couple steps toward the jungle in that direction. Oh, sorry. Did you want to come with us, or do you want me to put you back down?
Oh, you can put me back down and I'll come
Okay.
with you on my little feet. It'll be fine.
All right.
All right.
I very carefully don't actually touch Sheldon's shell because they asked me not to, and let them get back onto the ground.
Yep. Sheldon hops down to the ground, kind of shakes his legs out, and spitter spatters his way into the jungle ahead of you. And is actually remarkably fast considering that he has to like balance this big shell on two tiny legs. Running into the jungle, the plants kind of part ways for you and then kind of close back up behind you, and you can see the snow like that kind of travels over the grasslands behind you, kind of just passes by the jungle and doesn't touch it, and just kind of like travels along and then continues in its direction. And now you are in a jungle.
As we're walking, I actually, before we leave the beach, are the mermaids still like looking angrily at me?
No, they have vanished from sight.
Oh, dang it. Okay, never mind then. I'll start humming a song that I know.
Okay. What song do you hum?
Well, it's called The Maiden and the Selkie.
Ooh, okay. All right. We'll hold on to that. Okay, very good. So you're walking through the jungle, and noises that you did not hear moments ago are loud. You hear the sounds of singing birds and chirping bugs and leaves rustling. And it smells like a good scent of dirt in here. That musty, earthy smell is very fragrant in the air in this section of Neverland instantly as you walk in. And it's a little bit darker in here because the sun above is obscured by how big the leaves are on these trees. And you walk in with Sheldon kind of leading the way ahead of you. And he occasionally will walk up to a bush plant, like kind of shove his shell into it, look around, and come back out and be like, "No, that's not it." And kind of walk around to different ones, looking for whatever it is he's looking for.
Has it been like, how long has it been since the beach?
Like say about 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes.
So less than an hour.
Yes.
Cool. Okay, so like at the moment, Riddance is probably like a step in front of the line. Like he doesn't want to like run ahead, but he's probably like ahead of Tessa.
Okay.
And like there are branches and stuff in his way, but he's confidently walking and just like completely ignoring them, and they kind of just like bend around in front of him and as he's walking, like they're not getting out of his way, but something's pushing them out for him.
Yes. So this happens as Riddance is kind of walking through the jungle, and the tree branches and the leaves and things are darting, in and out of the way. And as they do, it's just an effortless thing. It's just almost like they just move with your aura. And then suddenly, and you expect it to happen, but you walk directly into one tree branch. And that's alarming because it should have moved out of the way, but it does not.
Oh, Riddance, you okay?
You okay?
Ow!
And a voice says, "You ow? Me ow? Why? Why did you walk into me like that? Your skulls are so hard."
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I didn't.
And then he just pulls out his card and he holds it at the branch and he goes, "Greetings, my name's Riddance."
And the branch does not move, but the tree trunk, a knot in the tree that is facing you, actually seems to have like a little bit of an expression of a face on it, and it sort of says, what is that? What is that card supposed to mean to me?"
It's just me.
And then Riddance just kind of like deflates, just completely deflates.
You really ought to look where you're going, young man.
I'm sorry.
He just kind of slinks back behind Tessa.
Well, it's all right.
Like just pat his shoulder.
Yeah.
Just be more careful where you walk. This is, a very crowded jungle. And you wouldn't want to run in. You're lucky you ran into me, young man, and you didn't run in to one of the tulips. They would have your hide.
Tulips is in the flower?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Tessa like abruptly starts looking around her at flower level for anything tulip shaped.
Yeah. So Tessa, off in the distance, they don't look like tulips that you've seen on Earth. They are big, about like 3 foot high flower stems that do look like tulips, with bright orange and red and green and blue colors to them. They're not everywhere, but they are scattered about the jungle. You see them one, every few paces. She says, "Well, just don't go running into one of them. And I guess you seem like a nice young man, so all is forgiven. Just be more careful."
Riddance tries to do like a curtsy.
The tree like rustles and says like, "Oh, that was nice." Okay, run along and be careful.
I will actually stop Riddance. I'm like, "Hey, want a piggyback ride?"
Riddance like doesn't even have time to say yes. He's just like he's midair as he says yes.
Okay.
Like, yeah, for sure.
I'll actually put him on my shoulders. I'm pretty tall. And
amazing.
Wow. All right, you are so tall right now, Riddance. You can see everything. It's so much.
He's like, "This is the best day ever," and he gives Arlie a bardic inspiration.
Nice.
He's just like, he's so excited. He's like, "You're the best ever. This is so much fun."
I'm probably trying to hold his legs down. He's probably accidentally flying because he's so happy, right?
Yeah. It's like a little lift of a feeling. It's like when you step, you're having a little bit of bounce to it.
All right, don't go flying off on me. Come on.
And as you start walking again, Sheldon kind of pops back and like waddles back over to you, carrying a little berry in his clamshell, and drops that at your feet and says, Don't go eat that or anything. Just hang on to it. I think we gotta mix it with something, but it should work a little bit.
Tessa reaches down and picks it up, drops it in like a pouch hanging from her belt.
I'm not sure what else we need, but I think it's around here somewhere. And he kind of...
Does the berry look familiar? Like, have I seen these before?
No, you explicitly have not. Very unfamiliar to you. And you continue on through the woods, as if that's what you want to do.
I'm going to lean over to Tessa and ask her, did Sheldon say what the berry's for?
Nope. Just said we would need it for something.
Great. Okay.
And not to eat it. Very explicitly, don't eat.
Okay. And then I'll look up at Riddance. You hear that?
Riddance goes, Sudsberry, what?
I will point to the berry that the clamshell left on the floor. That is the wild that sentence has never been uttered ever.
D&D. Yeah, I hold the berry up so Riddance can see it. And Sheldon said, don't eat it. We need it for something. But
Riddance is just like, oh, okay.
After a few moments of you discussing this, Sheldon comes back, this time with a nut in his clamshell, puts that down, says, all right, don't eat it. Keep it.
Do any of
same
us have
pouch as the berry?
I was gonna say, do any of us have like pockets?
Yeah.
Yes, you should all have pockets. There is someone at the camp called Pockets who ensures that every piece of Never Clothes has pockets for all of the lost. Yeah, that's pretty much as far as you know, all that she does all day. But she is very adamant that everybody have pockets.
Legit.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
Her whole job.
Yes, it's a very honorable position in Neverland. You again wait a couple of moments, and Sheldon comes back again, this time with like a couple of leaves in his clamshell. Odd looking, like old dead leaves, it looks like, that have turned colors and become crispy. And he drops them in front of you and says, okay. I don't remember what the next step is, but you need these. I do know who you can ask, but I think if you want to know what to do with them, you gotta go ask the nice folks that live up in the snowy mountains.
I look at Tessa.
I look back and I look down at Sheldon. The next step of what? What are we doing with the stuff?
For your noggins. For your good
okay.
noggins to give
Yeah, clearly I need that.
Mm-hmm. You have you come here, you have the memory problems. Doesn't make make that all good and nice. And you just talk to the scorpions, and they have a good recipe.
The scorpions in the mountains?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Riddance is just like, we're gonna greet some scorpions in the mountains?
We sure are.
What a day this is turning out to be.
Nearly got kidnapped by mermaids, made a friend.
It's the best day ever.
Great.
Mm-hmm. As Sheldon kind of drops this last thing off, you notice that the even through the shimmer of the trees, that the sun is in the tail end of its cycle of sunlight. We're not in danger of dusk quite yet, but it's getting later in the sunny hours. Sheldon makes a big yawn sound and goes, "Oh, well, I would like to be back in the dirt now, so I'm gonna go back to the beach, but it was nice to have met you."
Nice to meet you. Thank you
Have
for your help.
You're very welcome. And if you find another blue shell, you make sure it's empty first. If it's someone's house, don't give that away. You wait and see.
Yes. Sorry, Sheldon.
That's okay. And he kind of scurries away, and then he hops up into the air and does a little dive. And when he lands in the dirt, it's almost like it splashes, and then he dives down into the dirt, and it turns back into ground again.
Carry you, sir. Carry you, sir. Okay.
And you can just notice that the sky is a little bit dimmer, just approaching the duskiness of the day.
Should we head back, or do we?
Maybe we head back and go to the mountains tomorrow. Somebody should remember that. I probably won't.
I'm gonna sit there for a minute, like holding on to
Think real
Ridden's
hard.
legs and think real hard.
Okay, all right, you commit to memory going to the mountains tomorrow. Before you fly up and back to the floating islands. As you're flying over there, you can feel that, like, as you're approaching and as it's getting dimmer and dimmer in the sky, like flying is taking more and more effort as it kind of approaches this end of the day. You have to really focus on feeling joyful and light and happy. But you make it back to the floating islands just in time. The rest of the Lost are also you see others coming back from other sides of the camp. Those that were staying there are stirring the endless pot in the center of the island. And there is, a pot overflowing. You have a little bit of time to yourselves, amongst the dinner crowd.
I go get some stew. It was an eventful day. Dinner sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You've all been through a lot, or for sure. Some of you may be a little bit shook as well. And as you're eating your food, you see a sudden turn of commotion where everybody's heads turn to look, and you see this familiar figure that you know to be Pan, the one who brought you here, kind of float down and touch down on one of the floating islands towards the tree stump battle map where Nibs, Toodles, and Slightly are standing. Pan is tall and thin and looks very young in their face. Has pronounced canines, pronounced ears that look somewhat elvish to you, or at least elven related tangentially. Their hair is a reddish color. It is kind of long and just hangs over their eyes. And they are in a tunic made completely out of leaves sewn together, buttons kind of all over it. And across their belt, there are daggers, arrows, slingshots, all sorts of different things, and pouches hanging off of them as well. And of course, as always, right next to them is the flitting little darting ball of light that you all know always accompanies them. And Pan touches down, whispers into Nibs' ear, whispers into Slightly's ear. Toodles kind of leans in to get a listen as well, and Pan walks right by her and steps forward into the camp and leans down in front of everyone. Everyone is dead silent and staring over at Pan, waiting for them to say anything. But after a few moments, everyone starts kind of going back to their dinner quietly. Pan doesn't seem to address everyone with any grandiose news or anything like that at this time. But as long as Pan is there, everyone's kind of paying attention. You know, looking, waiting for what they might say. What would you three like to do for now?
Are there any instruments?
So yes, there are some instruments. Are you looking for anything in particular?
Either like a lyre or a flute, maybe?
Okay. Flute's going to be harder to find, but there are things like lyres or something, similar that are kind of not very well taken care of, but there's like a pile of belongings that is at the back end of the floating islands. There's a lot of stuff in there. There's instruments, old clothing, items that folks brought here that they no longer carry around with them. There's also a pile of damaged and broken weapons, and there are some instruments in there.
I'm just going to find the lyre that looks the most in tune.
Okay.
And I just want to pluck strings and kind of play, because it's been a while, and I do have a memory of missing getting to play.
Okay, so you sit down to start doing that. Give me a performance roll to see how that goes.
Okay.
And then while she's doing that, you two let me know what you would like to do.
Riddance is kind of like found a spot on the outskirts again with like a piece of, I don't know, maybe chalk, or I don't know if pencils even exist here.
Not commonly, no. It's in the pile of things you might find a pencil or even a quill if you really dug around in there. Even
just like some muddy dirt that I can use.
That's everywhere. Yeah, that you could definitely find.
And Riddance is just going to grab his little badge and open it up and just put 2 ticks in it.
Okay, you put 2 ticks in
and then close it up
badge.
And put it back in his pocket and just kind of like spend most of the time staring at Pan.
Okay. And how did that roll go?
Natural 20.
Ooh. All right. right. You are able, I mean, this thing you find is in pretty rough shape. And you're able to tune it without breaking these old strings, and you bust out a nice ditty. It's actually kind of nice, and it's so nice that typically Pan doesn't like anyone really playing music but them. But kind of looks over at you and gives a little smirk and then like lets it go.
I kind of duck my head down like, oh shit.
Anything that Tessa would like to do?
She's just gonna kind of sit there, finish her dinner, watch in amusement as Riddance makes his little marks, and then flip open the locket around her neck and just gonna stare at the picture that's inside. Little confused look around her, furrowed brow a bit, and then flips it shut and kind of tucks it back underneath her tunic.
Okay. It's like you can feel this wall and you know there's something behind it. And it just can't go through. After a few minutes, Pan and Nibs approaches you. And they both kind of walk up. Nibs is silent, arms crossed, just kind of inspecting each one of you. But Pan has a big old grin on their face and comes over to you. Tink flitters around each one of your heads, kind of tickles almost as like the residual fairy dust that's always surrounding her kind of sprinkles off of her and like into your hair and everything. And Pan says, so how about you three for an adventure?
I look at Tessa.
The other two. I look back and look at Riddance and then look at Pan. Yes.
Good.
Adventure sounds great.
Doesn't it? Wonderful. Well, we've got a big one then. All right, it's settled. Be these three, me, Nibs will make the plan. And he turns around and he shouts in a big, like cupped his hands and makes a big crowing sound with his voice. And everyone turns to face, and Pan says, guess what, everybody? And everybody is on the edge of their seat. And they say, turns out there's a new pirate down at the Jolly Roger. And we're gonna go get her. And everybody sort of jumps up and cheers and screams and hoots and hollers. And a couple people actually look jealous and like throw their weapons down on the ground because they wanted to be the ones to go get the new pirate. Lots of people are making like this motion, like kind of violent, like violent motions, inexpressively. And Pan just kind of turns back to you and is like, this is gonna be great. No new pirate's gonna come into Neverland. Not for long. So, anybody need anything?
Don't think so.
All right, Nibs, you do the boring stuff. And Nibs kind of walks over and it's like, all right, so we've got two ways we could do this. We've got the sneaky way, or we could go in and kill everybody. Which way do you guys want to do it?
I mean, sneaky? I don't think I've ever killed anyone before.
All
Don't think I have either.
right, have it your way. So in that case, when it gets nice and dark, we'll go over to the Jolly Roger and we'll hide up in the clouds. We'll watch, see if we could get a good look at her, see where she is. And when she shows her face, we'll see where she's sleeping for the night, which end of the ship. We'll wait until everybody's pretty much done. And then we'll board the place and get on in there. We'll take her out, maybe see if she's got any info on old Capitan. And, maybe we'll take some stuff on our way out. It's always fun. And, yeah, right? Sound good?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, full moon will be up in about half an hour or so. Do what you got to do until then, and we'll be off.
Tessa kind of raises her hand. How do we fly after the sun sets?
Oh, well, if you're traveling with Pan, they'll hook you up.
Okay. Never flown at night before.
Oh, first time, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I hope you all live, I guess.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyway, Nibs looks at the items on your belt and is like, well, all right. You need better weapons for this. So go see Slightly and get something new. Something a little better. And all right, cool. And Nibs kind of kicks the dirt around his feet and shuffles off.
Is Pan still there? Is he gone?
Yeah, Pan is still there for the moment.
Yeah. So Riddance is gonna kind of like just meekly pipe up for a second. Like, Pan?
Yes.
I just wanted to clarify, is so after we take out the pirate, is that when we greet them?
Ooh, well, how about this? We'll greet her first. Then we'll take her out. I think it's a better order.
That sounds good. That sounds great.
Okay.
I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And Sudbury is excited about it, and we'll make sure to help as much as possible. And I'm going to help as much as I possibly can. And I'm gonna be my best greeter self.
Pan kind of takes a hand and like ruffles your hair. And I was like, all right, kid. Yeah, we'll have a great time. It'll be lots of fun. And Pan will kind of fly off.
And Riddance is like an inch and a half taller than you've seen him before.
I love him. I love him
Amazing.
so much.
So Pan flies off, and you see Toodles kind of sitting on with her back to a stump, with Slightly nearby with a pile of items that she is kind of sorting through.
Gonna head over to Slightly, following Pan's instructions, see if there's better stuff we can get.
I'll follow Tessa.
Slightly turns around and is like, hey, I'm your expert weaponsmith for the big adventure. So what are you working with right now? What do you got?
I have a slingshot and a wand.
Oh,
I have a wood sword.
Oh, okay. Well, wood swords are always good, super fun. really, really fun. But you're gonna need like the real thing with the sharp edges and stuff. Okay, so I'll get you one of those. And this here is so good for you. Are you this is Diana talking? Are you a dex weapon or a strength weapon kind of lass?
Dex.
Dex. Okay, perfect. And slightly digs out in the pile and goes, this is what they called back home. They called it a broadsword. It's absolutely, definitely a rapier, though. When you look at it, but slightly says this is a broadsword, and what it was used for, it was actually used for catching giant fish bigger than you or me, that just they took up the entire ocean, and folks would use these broadswords to slice them right in half, and this is for you. And she hands it over to you, and it feels good in your hands. It's a nice light rapier.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm. And what about you, Tessa?
Pulls out. I have a slingshot.
You got a slingshot.
Yeah.
And you're a dex weapon lass as well, right?
Yes.
Well, I believe that they called this. I believe that they called this a radio, and you could get all of the distance with it, and everyone had one. Everyone who was cool had one of these, and I'm giving you one. And there's not many of these. You're gonna enjoy it, and it's gonna get you a lot of work done. And it is a short bow.
Okay.
That she hands to you.
Does this make me cool?
You're so cool. Now look at you. And there's a little quiver of arrows that comes with it as well. What about you, little tyke? What are you working with?
Without even saying anything, Riddance pulls out this mace, but when he whips it in the air and kind of declaratively holds it, it rattles.
Yeah, you you pull it out, and for a second, slightly ducks back, and then it's like, oh, huh. She's gonna reach out and touch one of the tips of it. Is it sharp and spiky, or is it soft?
It's very blunt.
It's blunt. Okay.
It's very blunt.
Very blunt.
Yeah.
How comfortable do you feel, little one, hanging on to maybe just a heavier one of those? And she pulls up one that is a bit spikier.
So, wait, Riddance takes like a good long look at it. And he goes, and he goes, yeah, I'm good.
Okay. All right. I'm comfortable with that, actually. So maybe at a later date we'll peer through these items for you.
Sure.
Otherwise, I think you're all right.
Tessa kind of holds the short bow and is like, how do I? She's not proficient in short bow, so she's probably holding it the wrong way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And slightly
looking very uncool.
Slightly will say, well, if you'd like a different kind of weapon, you could pick any of these. And you look at and there's just a ton. It's just a big old pile of weapons. Some of them are broken, and some of them look like they were recently used in battle. But there's pretty much every basic weapon here that you could think of.
All right. I'm gonna grab a crossbow.
Oh, crossbow.
If there's
okay.
one there. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a crossbow. Yeah.
She kind of looks at the short bow and is like, cool versus like the age-old game decision: do I choose the thing that looks cool, or do I choose the thing I can use? And ultimately decides on the crossbow.
Okay. All right.
Handing the short bow back with some regret in her face.
I am still the cool one. Me and my radio hanging out.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Not quite sure how to use the radio, so
That's all right.
Another
Not
day.
everyone
Another
does.
day.
Not
Mhm.
everyone does. It's only us cool folk who can use a radio.
that's how you use it. Okay.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. That's all right. Next time. Next time. And Riddance, you notice that Toodles is kind of like up against a tree, kind of looking a little like unhappy watching this whole thing go down.
Mm. Well, I mean, Riddance feels really like comfortable with Toodles, and like immediately kind of just like shuffles over, and without saying anything, just kind of like is a buddy, but gives that like bubble of space if Toodles wants it, because Riddance has no idea.
Mm.
And it just kind of like is a buddy if Toodles needs one.
Toodles looks over at you and is like, you just got to be safe out there, little buddy. All right, you stay behind everyone else. Okay?
Okay.
All
Just a
right.
big sigh.
All right. And just as that conversation comes to a close and you all have your new weapons, you notice that the moon kind of just shoots up into the sky and it is fully nighttime now. Pan and Nibs are gathered over by the little war table, and it is just about time for you to be off. That is also when we are going to end our session for the day, but I would like to do a little closeout as well. Hang tight. Because we ran a little bit shorter this time because of technical difficulties. We didn't really take a break, but I just want to thank everybody again. Thank the patrons for being here. Thanks for Ren for all their hard work that they did today to get this set up, and for Throck for the same. I want to do a shout out to Roll20. Please remember that you can sign up for a free account for Roll20, roll20.net/start/WTTP, and sign up. Thank you. I think we had I'm really glad. Thank you for everybody who has been in the chat, especially dealing with us through the technical difficulties portion of that. And we will be back here next Saturday with the same with the same cast lineup. I believe next week Russ will be out as well, but the following week they will be here with us and we will be a full party. And while I figure out if there's anything else I need to do, would everybody just kind of introduce themselves one more time and just let us know where else to find you, like if you're working on something else, so that we could go and find you and stuff. Start with Kate and go around the clock.
All right. Hi again. I'm Kate. I play Arlie, and you can find me on Twitter at KatesD8s, and you can find me on Twitch and Discord at KatesandD8s. And really, the only thing I'm working on is a Nutcracker one-shot for this upcoming holiday season.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, thanks.
Great. Morgan?
Yeah, I'm Morgan. I'll be playing Riddance for this campaign, and you can find me on Twitter at rmorganslade. I've been starting to dive into making third-party content for D&D, and the first thing I made came out last year. It was I was one of like I think 30 or 33 different writers for Animal Sidekicks, which is a supplement. Yeah, which is a super cool supplement about getting little critters to help you out if you've got a few people down and you still want to have a good game.
Yeah.
So you check that out on the DMs Guild.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Arclight?
Right. I'm Sarah. I'm playing Tessa, and you can find me in various places on the internet at Arclight Phoenix with varying spellings and underscores because of character limits and other things like taken usernames. So yeah, and this is really the only thing I'm working on right now that is published anywhere. So.
Well, I am very happy to have you here. For everyone who's in the chat still watching, we are going to be rating Tall Squall. I hope I'm saying that right. So we're going to go send them some love and support. So thank you so much for everyone for being here. Let's do it. I don't know. All right, we're going to rate them.
Yes.